We are doing exercise 10b, and in this video we're going to be going through question 8, and we're really going to be taking our time with this question, so settle in. So here it reads, if there are 8 swimmers in the final of the 1500 meter freestyle event, in how many ways can the first three places be filled? Now, before we really delve into the really nitty-gritty new notation I want you to learn here, I really just want you to appreciate that we can solve this quite easily relying upon the strategies that we have learned previously. We know that there are 3 places we are trying to fill. So 1, 2, 3. We could now go through each of these positions and ask how many possibilities we have for each of them. So if we say that this is the first position, how many people could potentially be in the first position? Well, there are 8 swimmers, so 8 people. Then we could say, well, how many people could come second? Well, one person has to come first, so that means there are 7 people. And how many could come third? Well, 2 spots have already been filled, so that means it's going to be 6. And then if we go 8 times 7 times 6, that's 336. That right there will be our answer. So let's actually highlight that. Now that's really relying upon how we've answered these types of questions previously. But now we're going to learn some new notation that's really going to help us answer these questions even more efficiently. And that was really quite efficient anyway. So what is this new notation? Here it is. So let's read this. The number of ways of arranging n objects in groups of size r is, and then we have this. Now this p right here is standing for permutations. As you read here, arrangements are also called permutations in mathematics. So now how could we translate this question into this form right here? Well, let's write it out. It's n of p of r. Now n is the objects I have, the amount I have. So in this case, it would be the total amount of swimmers. So it would be 8. So I'm going to rub that out, and I'm going to put an 8 there. R stands for, if we come over here, the size of the group, or another way to say it, how many positions we have to fill. So in this case, it is 3 places we're trying to fill. So I'm going to replace that R with a 3. Perfect. So we have an 8 and a 3 here. Now, how could we move on and write it like this? Because we know that this is going to equal this. Well, I could say equals, and it's going to be n factorial. So my n, that's 8. So it's going to be 8 factorial divided by n minus r. Well, n again is 8 minus r. R is 3. So it's going to be that, the factorial of that, which is going to be the same as 8 factorial over 8 minus 3, that's 5 factorial. So this right here, and I'm sorry, that 8 is just too ugly. I need to rewrite it. 8, that's a bit better. So this right here is equal to this. Now I am going to show you how we're going to fully write this out mathematically. But before we do that, I want to show you how you could use your CAS calculator and type in either this information or type in this information to get our answer of 336. So let's bring up our CAS over here. Let's go here. We're going to go menu. Actually, the first thing we'll do, let's put it in. Let me come over here. Let's put in this notation right here. So I'm going to go control divide. Then I'm going to go 8. Now I need a factorial sign. So go menu, go probability, and then once you're here, go factorial. Then come here, and now I'm going to type in 5. So 5, menu, probability, factorial. Then you hit enter, and there's your answer, 336, what we saw before. But we do not need to write this form in. We could actually go straight in and write this in. So how are we going to do that? I could go menu, I could go probability, and then type in, or then click permutations, which will bring this up. I'm now going to type 2 numbers into this bracket, the n and the r. My n is 8, then comma, my r is 3, close brackets, enter, 336. So I've shown you now basically 3 different ways, which are actually all the same way, you'll see that soon, of getting to our answer of 336. We did first through the strategy that we all knew and love, and then we went through this new permutation language and showing you how that linked in to factorials. So hopefully this makes you comfortable in using your calculator to answer both ways, but I hope you see that this is the easiest way to do so, because you can just immediately read the question, go, all right, we're dealing with permutations. I've got an 8, I've got 3 places. You put that in, too easy. You don't even have to do this subtraction here. But now we need to know why this works. So let us continue on our journey. Let me write out 8 factorial. So that's going to be 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, and I'm going to divide that by 5 factorial. So that's going to be 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Now, what will that equal? Well, hopefully you can see that this will cancel out with that, and I'm going to be left behind with 8 times 7 times 6, 8 times 7 times 6, which gives me 336. And that is exactly what we found up here. So as you can see, all these different strategies are the same strategy. It's just, there's lots of ways to do something in maths, which makes maths beautiful. Hopefully this was helpful to you in answering question 8 of exercise 10b.